Hi, Alison Marsden from Gardening by Design here with a quick video tip looking at pruning shrubs before winter weather sets in. You can probably see behind me a couple of tall shrubs. One's a buddleia and the other is a black cut-leaved elder, and these are ideal shrubs to be cut down just to cut the tops off in this late autumn period before we get into the winter storms. Let's take a closer look. So here they are without me standing in front, and these are two deciduous late summer flowering shrubs they're cut down in the spring. I'll go in a moment closer and you can see where they've been pruned in the past, but by the end of the summer, great display of black leaves on one, white flowers on the other on the buddleia, 2.5 to 3 meters tall, and they certainly need to be cut back to prevent thrashing or breakage if we get storms in the winter, and also windrock. So let's have a quick look at what windrock is, and then I'll return to the shrubs. Windrock is pretty much what it as described. It is where the wind and storms catch the tall branches at the sort of the top of the shrub and thrash them about and makes the whole plant rock, even down to the roots, and that's where the problems arise. And if we look at this buddleia, this was taken a bit earlier in the autumn, and you can see that it's rocked forwards. It's actually been loosened in the soil. So the wind and the weight of water has brought the plant over. And if we zoom in at the roots, you can see they've been loosened. So the roots are loose and there's air and water gaps around. And that will be a great problem in the spring if it isn't firmed back in. And both of these are shrubs that are cut down in the spring to maintain a framework, and then, as I say, lots of strong growth, so you get good height and great leaves by keeping them under control. And you can see here at these stems, just the centre is white, but there's a much bigger round branch that's been cut back last spring, and you can see all over that they've been cut back, and that's about the height I want to cut them back to again. And then you get this long growth, and you can just see actually a few leaves right up there just left on the top, and there's quite a lot you can see of sort of little thin twiggy growth that also needs to be removed. I will return in early spring to cut these back, because by then the buds will be more apparent on both these shrubs, and I can see exactly how low I can cut them in order to get regrowth next year. But for the moment, it's about taking the tops off. I have both a pair of chunky ratchet secateurs and a pruning saw here. It is very important to get a clean cut, not to leave raggedy edges. So some of the smaller things will be done with the secateurs. Some of the bigger stuff I will just take the pruning saw to them. If you've got loppers, which I have, you can use those for the bits in between, but always use a big enough tool to get a nice clean cut. Otherwise the bark can strip and you can get disease and it all begins to rot. So clearly I can't film myself pruning the whole thing, but I'll do a few representative ones, something like this, to cut off, because it's crisscrossing. One of the objects is to open the centre out and remove all the crossing wood. So I'm just going to go around and do one section of this elder and then show you what it looks like at the end. And here is one sort of main stem that I've cut back. You can see I've cut back to the buds. We haven't hit winter yet, and if there's frost, this is a pretty tough plant. There's always a possibility some buds may get burnt off by the frost. So I've left at this stage. You can see, if I go right down, there's another bud down the bottom here, a pair of buds. So if we do get frost damage, I can always cut it back. And even on these elder, just looking for somewhere, you can see, let's go in here, you can see that right down here on the side of the very old thick wood, there is also a nice healthy black bud. So it will regrow from really old. You can almost coppice it and get recovery, but this height, about 1 metre off the ground, is about right for me, because I want the height in front of the hedge for next year. There's more information on my Gardening by Design website about how gardening supports well-being and how I can help you.